for week one impressions, I'm sensing a 2000 what 4 to 2008 type of season where it was defenses dominated. You had good quarterback play that didn't have, but within that time period, that's when you had Trent Dilfer win a Super Bowl. Like, I mean, we weren't expecting great quarterback play out of the Ravens because they were that kind of dominant defense first type team. I think defense is this is just week one impressions. I'll ask for yours in a minute. Is that I'm sensing great quarterback play, stout defenses, and I'm looking at a defensive team. I'm not going to name who yet, but a defensive minded team is going to take it this year. Is going to win the big game.
Yeah, what I
How about
found,
you?
what I
What's your
found,
first
what I
first
found
week
really,
impressions?
yeah, what I found really interesting from the first week this week, which is not really normal. This was kind of an abnormal week. The 7 of the games this week were decided by 3 points or less.
Exactly.
We had one tie that stayed a tie. We had another game that went into overtime. Was the Steelers won their game in overtime, and then you had the tie on the Colts Texans game. So I think we're going to see a big defensive battle this year.
Mm-hmm.
The college world is changing. Most people know I'm a college guy. Been one of A&M's guys for 10 years on the field working. I'm one of their statisticians, and you're going to see a lot of things. We call it the air raid, right, in college. That's a big function, but dual threat quarterbacks now are the thing. A lot of colleges are going to dual threat, run, pass option.
Yeah.
And those guys are moving into the NFL. So what we used to see with the old John Elways of the day, the Tom Brady's that didn't run, those guys, now we're seeing the quarterbacks that can run, that can pass. They've added another element to the game that's increasing.
Yeah. Are you saying like now we're seeing a saturation of that kind of quarterback? Because I mean, we have seen that transition for about 4 seasons, right?
Yep.
The Cunninghams were an exception to the rule. Now, an Elway is the exception to the rule. Is that what you're saying? Like, I see that too.
Yeah, so you're definitely seeing an exception to the Elways of the world, right? That just sit back in a pocket. Manning, the Mannings, they're another group of
they're
boys
starting to dry out.
Yep, because everybody's gone to this run pass, this dual threat option. That along with some of the rule changes within the NFL on really on the roughness of the sport, if that's what you want to call it. Where we're seeing a lot more penalties now than we've seen because we keep adding more rules to targeting and late hits and or questionable hits, not even really late hits, the questionable hits and holding calls are increased a lot more. So I think that we're going to see. I think you've got some teams out there you're going to see that are going to stay really tough defensive teams. They're going to keep points low, but you're going to see teams that are really going to put some. Like the Chiefs are going to be, I bet by the time the season's over, they're averaging 32, 33 points a game.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. They're built like that,
They're going to be sending balls down, and it's going to be in the air, a lot of it. I think, the Browns is another team. The Browns have not historically been a good team, right? Since the Eric Kraus, I would say that the death of a quarterback there. But they might have broke the curse. They started out week 1 really good with a 1-0 with over the Panthers. They put up 26 points. So I think that we're going to start seeing some high point games, but you are going to have some teams out there that are extremely defensive, really good, that can shut down, all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. So it'll be exciting to watch this year. Like I said, the rule change.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say, like, with that transition of gameplay that you're saying you're seeing in the NFL, what do you think the revolving door of more college coaches also being part of that change, where they're bringing that kind of system in? Because before we had the athletic quarterback, the dual threat was always around, right? Like I said, the Cunninghams and and others. But there was always that NFL coach that would begin after year 3, maybe year 4, reining in that quarterback from running so much to become more of a pocket passer, and then they end their careers as a pocket passer.
Right. Yeah. So I think there's a few things that interesting about the college world. So that trickles down into the high school world, and you look at the high school world, and that those pocket passers aren't the flash in the high school, right? It's the guys that can shake and cut and move and get out of tough situations, get downfield, score points. That's the high school flash now.
Yeah.
Well, those kids are getting so much attention that's what the colleges are picking up, and that's what they're developing. And so I think we're going to continue to see this trend of just dual threat for a while. I don't know that we'll ever get back to these tight pocket passes. I mean, there's some out there that are going to be really good, for sure. But the game has just evolved to now it's added a dimension that makes it really tough on the defense, right? Because now they have to sit back and they have to spy that quarterback a little bit longer, just sit tight in their pocket and make sure that they're not watching, that they are watching what that quarterback's about to do. Because if you're a defender and you're playing against Peyton Manning or a John Elway in the day, if he drops back, well, you can drop back.
Yeah.
So you can take a few steps back and watch those routes come to you. He's not coming out of the pocket. Nowadays it's a lot different. You're seeing, that's why you're seeing a lot of you look at the dynamic of the defensive ends now. If you think back,
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah.
20 years ago, defensive ends, the size of a defensive end, they were like a defensive tackle.
Yeah, exactly. There's another big guy on the line.
They were. Now your defensive ends are very agile. Yeah. They're not super heavy. They're as fast. They're
linebackers basically.
Than your linebacker. Exactly. Yeah. So.
And then your linebacker now is more of a cornerback because he's got to cover faster, routes or shorter routes that have, because the offense is changing, like you said, to a more running gun type of thing where they can do faster cross routes. The Wes Welkers of the world are going to flourish.
So I think the dynamic is very interesting in the NFL world, and we'll see where it goes.
Nice.
So yeah, it's exciting though.
It is. Football's back, baby.
It is. It is.
I can bust out my a little bit too small sweater and enjoy it for one day.
Yeah, because you're out in California, right? So
I'm in California, and I tell people that Kansas City gave me a football home when I was a football orphan. The Traders had already fucked basically a second city to go back to their first city, and then the Rams. I'm warming up to the Rams. The Super Bowl win was nice. That's a great way to come back and reintroduce yourself to the city that you left once, but I can't leave my Chiefs.
Yeah, so that's funny. Most people don't know, I grew up in the Kansas City area, so I'm a huge Chiefs fan. I'm a FC Dallas soccer fan. So I got connections to the Hunt family, and so it's been kind of fun. I'll never veer away. Being in Texas now, I watch the Cowboys, watch the Texans a little bit, but yeah, I'm still a Chiefs fan. And go back to me being a kid and Derek Thomas coming into the school when they used to make trips to your school when you're in elementary school, that they'd make trips in, and so those days are fun. So yeah, I'm still a Chiefs fan too. So
yep. Awesome, dude. Well, thank you, Bradley, TXAg, for being in the house. First episode of the BUC Fantasy Football Fanatics show. If we can do this every week, we will, but I'll work on your schedule. We love your insights. Data guys, come on. Like, this is football data. This is us.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Thanks.